Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Michael. Today I'm going to share with you how to ferment jalapeno peppers. And I've got some red ones here. You can use the green ones if you've got those. This is about a pound's worth. I've got another 1.5 pounds off to the side there just in case I need some more. And that'll be with all of it total, if it all goes into this crock, will be just a little over 2.5 pounds, right about 2.5 pounds, or just a little over 1 kilo of my jalapeno peppers. I don't know how many it's going to take because, as you can see here, some of the peppers are a lot bigger than the other ones. You might have some that are small like this one. So it just depends on what you've got, how many you're going to be able to get into your crock. Now we're going to be using a crock today. This is a 2-liter crock. And for this one, we're going to fill it up to about where the handle is here on the top of that, where it starts kind of curving in on us on the top. And that'll give us a little bit of room on the top for the weights, because we need to weight everything down on that. And the weights are probably about 1/2 inch thick on these. So you want some room on that for that to clear the top. And then we want to be able to put some extra brine on the top of that so that everything stays completely submerged. And we've got the top that's going to go onto that. So I'll put the link in the description box below for this crock if you're interested in one. This is a nice one. It makes small batches, or you can try different smaller batches of different fermentations. It would be great instead of buying a really big one, and that way you can get the process down, and then once you get the process down, you can get the bigger one. Now, along with our jalapenos, we're going to be using salt and water. And with the water, I'll talk about that. I've got 1 liter of water, or that's about 1 quart, and with that we want the water to be unchlorinated. So we want to make sure that it doesn't have chlorine in it. So if you're pulling it out of the tap, you need to do this a day ahead of time if you want to, so that it can evaporate out of the water. If you want a faster way to do that, you can use the water out of the tap, put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then turn it off and let it come back down to room temperature, and that'll boil some of the chlorine out of it as well. Or you can get a filtered water. You definitely don't want to use a chlorinated water, because chlorinated water will inhibit the fermentation process that we're looking for today. So we definitely don't want that. And with our salt, we're going to be having a 3 to 4% ratio per liter. So this is 40 grams. I'm going to use 4% of my salt today into my water that I've got. And with your salt, you want to make sure that you have a salt that the only ingredient on the salt is salt. If you get some of the other salts that are iodized, that's going to prohibit or inhibit your fermentation process as well. So whatever salt you use, I use this pickling and canning salt because the only ingredient in it is salt. Just make sure that the only ingredient on it is salt. So you can pick anything you like, but just make sure that the only ingredient is salt on that. So I'm going to go ahead and make my brine and let that be sitting here. I'm going to go ahead and add my salt to it, and I'm going to give that a good stir to get that dissolved together. Now this isn't a very big crock, and I'm thinking that this is going to be enough water for that. I normally use, for the bigger batches, I've got a 3-liter, a 5-liter, and a 10-liter crock. So definitely if you've got the bigger ones, you can put more jalapenos in it. But if you want to try the smaller version to see how it's going to turn out for you, definitely try one of the smaller ones. And this is about where this is here. So I'm going to use the 1 liter. If I need to make some more, you definitely can make some more. I've got some more water set aside just in case, and I can mix up some more salt. Mix it accordingly how much you're going to need. Right now that is a liter or a quart, and I've got my 40 grams of my salt in the solution there already dissolving. Now if you're sensitive to the jalapenos, I don't want to take a chance on mine, me touching my eyes after I've touched peppers, so I'm going to put some gloves on. So definitely, if you've never chopped up jalapenos before, you definitely might want to put on some gloves, because you'll only touch your eye once with the peppers and you'll never do that again. So I always put gloves on when I'm cutting up peppers, and I've given these a good wash. Like I said, I don't know how many I'm going to be able to get in here, but I'll let you know as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these into ringlets. Now you can definitely ferment these whole if you want to do that, and with that you would just take a knife and just kind of punch some holes into the sides of this so that the brine solution can get in there, and you can pack them in your jar whole. I like the little ringlets because I use those if I'm making nachos or if I'm putting them on a pizza. I like them already sliced up that way, so that's how I'm going to make mine today. So with that, I'm just going to take the end cap off, that right here on the edge. Just take that off, and I'm going to leave the seeds and everything in there. If you don't want them as hot, at this point you can go in there and take you a knife and cut that out, and that way you won't have the seeds in there, and that'll take some of the heat out of it. I'm going to leave them in there. The fermentation process is going to take these and make them a little bit milder. They're not going to take all the heat out, but they won't be as hot as if you were just eating them raw. So I'm just going to take my jalapenos here and just kind of cut them up into little ringlets, and that's about 1/4 of an inch there. And at that point you can take them and drop them into your crock, and you want to kind of pack them around in there once they get where that's filling up the bottom, and we'll see how many we get into our crock. So if you cut them up a little bit bigger than mine, you might not be able to get as many in there. If you cut them up a little bit smaller, you might be able to get some more in there. So it definitely depends on a lot of factors: how big the jalapenos are, how big you slice them, if you take those membranes out of the center of it. So let's just take, and I'll let you know how many I have here today once I get all these cut up. Now, if you don't have the red ones and you want to use the green ones, and that'll be nice color in that, you can put some red ones and green ones in there. That'll make a nice combination on those. Or you can use all green or all red, whatever you like. I've got my peppers in the jar now, and I'm ready to go ahead with the next process. So I brought it up to where it's just under the handle here, about where it's starting to curve back in on itself, and that's about that far from the top. I'll let you look down into it with the overhead that I've got there, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. And now we're going to take our brine solution, and I'm going to give that one more mix. And with any fermentation, if you've never fermented before, the process to make a successful ferment is everything has to stay below the brine. If anything comes above the brine, there's a chance that that could mold, and you definitely don't want to see that. So if you open this up and you see mold on the top of it, or if you see something that's floating on the top that's got mold on it, at that point you just want to throw it away. I don't mess with mold. If there's mold in my fermentation, it's not worth it to me. I throw it away and we can start over again. Now there's something in the top of it that's called calm yeast that looks completely different from mold. I normally don't see that either because of the way that these fermentation crocks really work. So, but if you see that, it's almost opaque looking. If you can Google that to see what that looks like, it's different from mold, the way that it looks. But definitely, if you've got one of these crocks and you keep it sealed with the water seal, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. I don't normally get that in mine either. But the way I'm going to do mine today is I've got some cabbage leaves here, and that's going to keep those seeds, everything under the solution where it's at. So if you've got grape leaves, you can use those. If you've got a grapevine in your yard, the tannin that's in the grape leaves is fantastic at keeping everything really crisp. That works really well. I'm going to use the cabbage that I've got today. I got just a small head, and I'm going to make sure that I cover everything. But before I put this on, because I want the brine to get down into the peppers, I'm going to make sure this is completely dissolved. Give it one more stir together so that all of that solution is mixed together, that salt and that water. And I'm going to slowly pour it into the top. All right, looks like I'm going to need some more solution with that because it's just now coming up to where I can see it. So I'm going to finish this off putting in here, and I'm going to mix up some more of my salt and my water to get that so that it's ready to go. So even if I wanted to, I could use a 1/2 liter and then 20 grams of my salt, and that way you wouldn't have to mix as much. So you can definitely try it, see how much you're going to get in there, how it's packed. And then at this point, I'm just going to take my leaves that I've got here. Now with your cabbage leaves, because they're dome, we want those to be flat. So I'm going to take these and take my knife and just kind of cut some of that core out of the back of it so that they will lay flat across the top of that. So that kind of flattened that out a little bit. So I'm going to take that now, and I'm going to push this in here and put it down around the complete side. You don't want any of that sticking up above your brine solution. So as you're putting in your cabbage leaves, just make sure that everything is tucked under that solution. And I see a lot of seeds that have come up on that. So when I get ready to seal this up, if I have to come in there with a pair of tongs to do that, then I'm going to go in there and pull those seeds out of there because I don't want those floating on the top. So I've got my cabbage leaves on top of my jalapenos. I've got everything covered, and I went in with some tongs and I pulled out the seeds that were floating on the top. Now let's put our weights in. Now this is very important with these because you want everything to stay submerged. So with this crock, I got these weights with it. Now a lot of the crocks you'll get might not have the weights in them, but you definitely want to get these. And if you don't have these and you've got a crock already, you can use like a Ziploc bag. You can double bag it. And with that, you can put some of your brine solution in there. That way, if the baggie leaks that you've got it in, it'll be the same consistency of the brine that you've got in there. And you can put that in there to weight that down. But I've got these weights. They're really nice, and they go in on the top. And we're just going to drop those in there just like this. and that's going to push all of that down into the bottom like that. And I've got my second one here, and I'll put that in over here. All right, I've got my weights in there now, and I've got those pushed down in there, and any seeds that came to the top, I took those out with my tongs. You definitely don't want to leave any of those in there. So just make sure you check for your seeds and look around on the sides. This white one's kind of a little bit hard to see. If there's any stuck on the sides, feel around under the rim up here to make sure that none of them got up under there. That's where mold is. If anything's above the brine solution in there is not submerged into it, you might get mold in it. So you definitely want to take that extra precaution for that. So now we can take a look at it. I think everything looks good. I don't see anything else floating on the top. I see something right there. Give one last look. Everything looks really good. Everything is submerged. All right, now that you've checked everything is submerged, you'll take your top, you'll put it on top of the fermenting jar that you've got, and just take you some water, and you want to take it and fill up this reservoir on the top. Now what's going to happen is that's going to create a seal around the top of it. You don't want any air getting into it, and when the fermentation starts, that should be about 3 to 4 days, you should hear bubbles and things in there. If you listen to it closely, you might even hear it as it's sitting on the counter where the air is coming out of it, where it's fermenting, where it's building up that. The air will come out, but nothing will get in. So you want to make sure that this stays completely sealed, filled with water. So just come in every day, just kind of look at it to make sure that it's still got a seal on it and it's not gotten down below where the air can get into it. So definitely keep that sealed up, keep a watch on it, and we're going to let this set for 4 weeks. I really like a nice fermented taste. Sometimes you might hear people say, you know, they leave them in there for 2 weeks and then at that point they're done. They like the taste of it at that point. If you want to go through and check it at 2 weeks, you can, but just make sure that if you taste one of them, that you, if anything, as you put it back in there and it's not ready to go, then you'll have to reseal everything back in there to make sure nothing's floating on the top of it. I just want to let mine sit for 4 weeks. The longer it sits, the better it's going to taste to me. Now you want to put this somewhere away from heat. You don't want it sitting any kind of heat. Definitely don't want to put it next to the stove. So put it somewhere, if you want to put it in your pantry, just set it somewhere that you'll be able to see it so that you'll know to come in and keep the water reservoir filled up. I usually keep mine over here by the sink, and that works perfectly because I can see it. It's not next to anything hot. And keep a watch on it, and I'll see you back when this is done. I am back, and it's been 5 weeks since I put my jalapenos in my crock, and we're going to open them up today to see how they have turned out. So I've just got some paper towels here, and you want to remember to make sure that you keep that lid on that with the water around the ring on it so that you don't get that air getting back in there. And you want it all to escape so that we've got a nice seal on those and we don't get that mold in there. So let's open these up and let's see how we have done with this. All right, let's open these up and see what we have. We've got some nice fermented jalapenos. I'm going to give that a look to make sure I don't see any mold. There's no mold, so that is a good sign. So I've got my ferment here. I've got a container here that I'm going to transfer those into, but first I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this water off the top here because I don't want that to get into my food. So definitely make sure when you're removing this that you take all of that water off, because as soon as you turn this over on its side, it will dump that water in there. All right, so I'm going to grab me some tongs here and pull my weights out so I'll get those out of there. All right, I've got the weights out of my crock now. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab this cabbage out of here and pull that out. It has done its job. We can throw that away. All right, I've got the cabbage leaves out of there now, and I want to give that a good look again. Everything looks really good. Let me give it a smell. It smells absolutely incredible. It smells like jalapenos. So I know I've got a good fermentation on these, so I'm going to go ahead and take these and put these into this container here so that I can move them into another jar. All of that has come out of there now, and you can see here with my jalapenos that I've got here, they've got a nice color to them from where they were still in there. My brine solution looks just like what it should look. It's kind of has a yellowish brownish color to it, so we definitely have a good ferment on these. So now I'm going to go ahead and transfer these over to a container with the lid on it, and I'm going to grab me a funnel and I'll be right back. So I've got my container here. It is a swing top lid, and it has the rubber gasket on the top that creates a nice seal to keep all your goods nice and fresh while they're in the refrigerator. So let's go ahead and move our jalapenos into that. So I've got a ladle here with a wide mouth funnel, and I'm just going to move those into that container. All right, I've got my jalapenos now transferred to my container. I'm going to get me a small piece here and give it a try. Those have a nice kick to those where those seeds were in there, and it has that nice ferment that's coming through there. So I know you're going to want to try these. These would be great on a sandwich. It'd be great on as a side to some beans. If you haven't checked out my Jamaican red beans with spinners, I'll put that link in the description box. These would be great with those. So now that we've got our jalapenos put into our container, we want to put these with the lid and put that into the refrigerator. Now what that's going to do is going to slow the fermentation down. It's still going to be fermenting while it's in the refrigerator while they're in there, but it's not going to be as fast as it was sitting here on the counter. At this point, you definitely want to put these in the refrigerator. Do not leave these out on the counter. They could potentially mold, and we definitely don't want that after you work so hard to get your peppers fermented. If you like this content, maybe you might consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And while you're at it, check out one of these other two videos over here on the side. You might find something else you like. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you ferment some jalapenos, let me know how yours turned out. And if you've done them in the past, do you do anything different for them? I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you on my next one. Bye-bye now.